so excited. I can't even wait to get the real copy. So I'm going to start right away. Your Body Song, 18 minutes to health, happiness, and longevity. And this is the introduction. In April 2014, I resigned from a six-figure, 90-hour-week job managing a team of over 300 employees after standing at the edge of a burnout abyss. Initially, this job had been exciting, a challenge. But after 5 years in the corporate world, my work-life balance was non-existent, and the unrelenting stress was literally sucking the life out of me. I was spending my health to gain wealth, so that later I had the wealth to spend to regain my health. When I finally woke up to the realization that this was totally nonsensical, I resigned. But suddenly, having all those free hours at my disposal was totally overwhelming. As a way of keeping myself from falling into a different kind of abyss, I dove headlong into my old passion, researching quantum mechanics, health, and happiness. In the Western world, we don't really have a healthcare system. What we do have is a system of disease care. Name it, blame it, and tame it using drugs and surgery. Additionally, our health advice is downright contradictory, and worse still, we are made to believe there is nothing we can do to our bodies that we are told are inevitably deteriorating. My hope is that by the end of this book, you'll see how dangerous buying into that belief is. So, how do we recognize what is simply a passing medical or health fad versus finding what really does make a tangible difference to your health and longevity? For me, this question grew with every inconsistency I encountered. Having researched weight for over a decade in order to write the Mind Over Fatter program, Mind Over Fatter, since renamed The Joyful Body, and Mom Passed the Broccoli, I gained a developing skepticism of what we're told about weight. I believed it to be inaccurate. And then I had an epiphany. It struck me that my grandfather, who lived to 101, led his life exactly the way wholehearted people did, as described by Brené Brown, the fabulous US researcher of shame and vulnerability. It was how he naturally negotiated his way through the world. After a fleeting idea, I started asking a new question. Could my grandfather's health and longevity have had anything to do not only with his human doings, his lifestyle, but also his human beingness, his consciousness over so many years? As a result of the simple principles I'd learned from the many hours wading through research articles, I suspected this was a possibility. Was it possible that our patterned ways of being, our consciousness, create and carry vibratory patterns of biology that collectively are either health eroding or health enhancing? For those extreme survivors, having healthy longevity and sharp brains beyond the age of 100 and across creeds and cultures, what would they have in common in terms of their beingness or consciousness? When I changed the question, it dramatically changed the answers. After all, proof of healthy longevity lies in the birth and death certificates of centenarians, not in some speculative advice written on the web, and often fueled by commercial interests. They say that inspiration happens when preparation meets perspiration, and I guess that's what happened to me. During my years of diving into quantum medicine, heart coherence, psychoimmunology, morphic resonance, cymatics, neuroplasticity, consciousness, fractal geometry, cell biology, and much more, a whole new understanding of health had emerged. I read everything I could, attended seminars, and watched countless hours of YouTube and TED Talks. I interviewed experts, centenarians, and people who knew them well. In the process, I accumulated a vast storehouse of knowledge, and now I'm ready to share what I've learned. How to signal your cells to create the health you want. In particular, though, the code to what I think of as your body song is informed by 3 groups of people. Extreme survivors, those who have great health to over 100. Extreme shifters, those with multiple personalities. Extreme believers, those who achieve what we might consider miracles, such as walking unscathed over hot coals. Attaining healthy longevity according to the body song code looks very different to what you may currently believe. I ask that you be open-minded and approach what I'm saying with curiosity. While your genes, diet, and exercise certainly play a role, this role may be a lot smaller than we've been led to believe. I'm going to introduce you to a health secret that I've come to believe plays a far bigger role than any of those factors. Whenever possible, I will give you ways to prove those biological truths to yourself so the evidence is tangible. By the end of this book, you will realize that health isn't difficult and it doesn't take willpower. In fact, all the most potent health measures are free, and they don't require pills or potions, doctors or procedures. We're going to look at health myths and an exciting new healthcare model that gives you way more control over your health than you may previously have thought you had. I want you to consider that there is more to disease creation than just genes and lifestyle. And I want you to have the tools to increase your health span, feeling energized, vital, and healthy, so that it equals your lifespan, instead of spending your latter years in a disease span, feeling old, sick, and dying. And the earlier you start, the better off you'll be. So before I get into the book, let me also just read you my disclaimer. I do not offer medical advice. I merely share information and stories that offer an alternative version of health. Your individual health choices are always your own responsibility. Join me as I work through my book and read it to you. And if you want to get ahead, of course, you can order it off Amazon.